Point Park soccer improves in conference play, the football season continues to entertain, and which MLB star will bring home the MVP? It's time to come on down to Pioneer Sideline. Good evening and welcome to Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Bryn Reese, back for another week of sports news. We have all the breaking Point Park news for you and later national news and some conversations on the MLB MVP race. To start, Edmi Idalis reports on how Point Park men's soccer is performing versus conference opponents. Edmi?
This past Saturday, men's soccer came back for the win in homecoming matchup against Mountain East Conference's Frostburg State University Bobcats. The last time the Pioneers went up against the Bobcats was last year, and Point Park came back with a loss of 1-0. As they look for redemption this time around, they find it with a win of 2-1. Those two goals did not come lightly. The first goal came in the 54th minute after being down by 1 in the first period from captain Fridolin Gerfrora, with an assist by Guy Lehrer. Gerfrora said, quote, "It's always good to score the first goal, but this time we were actually behind a goal, so it was just half the job done. But it definitely felt good to get the goal and get our hopes up," end quote. For his first goal of the season, and as a Pioneer, Lorenzo Crispello scored the final goal of the game, with only 4 minutes left on the clock. With that, the game ended 2-1 to Point Park with a total of 7 yellow cards issued, 5 to Frostburg's and 2 to Point Park. Midfielder Shiroki Briard said, quote, "In the end, it wasn't even football anymore. It was a fight," end quote. Moving forward, the Pioneers will kick off October with an MEC matchup against Davis and Elkins on Wednesday, October 1st at 4 p.m. And on Sunday, October 5th, Point Park is set to travel to Kentucky to play against Thomas More University at 2 p.m. For what's happening to the women's sports team, back to you at the desk, Bryn.
You heard that right. With conference play heating up, Point Park women's soccer showed this weekend they're built for the moment. The Pioneers earned a tough 2-1 win Saturday afternoon, holding off MEC opponent Frostburg State at Highmark Stadium on homecoming. The scoring started in the 37th minute. Journey Durrett Finney found the back of the net off a great ball from Ann Barbosa, giving the Pioneers the early edge. They kept the momentum rolling in the second half just 10 minutes after the break. Rebecca Pilgrim, the team's top scorer, buried her 5th goal of the year off an assist from Paula Soleil, making it 2-0. It's been a big week for Pilgrim, and the freshman from Sweden was just named Point Park's Female Athlete of the Week after scoring 4 goals in the team's previous 2 contests. She currently sits tied for the most goals in the entire Mountain East Conference and ranks top 10 in points across the league. Frostburg didn't go quietly, however. In the 75th minute, Carly Gillette curled one in with help from Elena Fernandez to cut the lead to 1. But the Pioneers' defense held strong as goalkeeper Fredrike Larsdom came up with huge 8 saves to lock it down. With the victory, Point Park improves to a 4-2-1 record overall and are 3-1 in MEC play. They've won 3 in their last 4, and they're making noise as true contenders in the MEC. Now for more on the women's team, we welcome 2 very special guests to the studio. Please join me in welcoming senior midfielder Journey Durrett Finney and senior midfielder Tatum Lucero. So thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, and to start off, obviously we had this huge win on Saturday. Journey, we saw your first goal of the year.
Yes.
What did that mean to you?
It meant a lot, honestly. Like, I've been struggling for a minute to finally find the back of the net, but it was really empowering finally breaking through and knowing that I'm capable of of scoring and doing that and providing so much for the team.
Yeah, and then Tatum, just big conference win in general. What did that mean to you?
It means a lot seeing this conference win. As a team that has been on the other side of it, now seeing the upward trend, it's just really exciting, and I can't wait to see what we do next.
Yeah. And then obviously this year's Coach Colin Baker's first year. Obviously we've seen kind of different results even just in your record alone. How has he impacted the team and affected you guys both on and off the field?
So even more than just seeing the record, seeing the win, seeing the stats, he has just completely changed our team dynamic. He's changed the environment. Every day, we all want to show up. We all want to work hard because of what he's pushing us to do. It's just really been empowering is the word.
Yes.
Yeah, I know I'm going to steal your word.
Yeah.
It's just been like a great environment where we lift each other up and we want to be there and work hard. And I think the results that we're seeing are a result of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, piggyback off of that, I just think our team is like so capable of many great things, and I'm glad that Colin has came and kind of brought that out of us. And he's kind of instilling empowerment. He's instilling so much positivity, and it's like really paying off. And it's nice to see that we can actually see some results in it and everything.
And so you guys are in your 4th year on this team. You've been at Point Park on this team for 4 years. You kind of talked about how Baker's kind of changing the whole image of the team, but kind of how is this year different all around, and how are you guys feeling going about the season?
Well, I'm feeling pretty optimistic. I'm feeling pretty great. I mean, from last year, compared to last year, we're trending upwards. We're doing way better. So definitely coming into like this year, I was really excited, and of course our last year. So definitely want to go out with a bang, and yeah.
Yeah, I think this year compared to last year, especially doing the transition from NAIA to NCAA Division II, now that it's our 2nd year here, we kind of know the ropes. We know what we're doing, and I just think we have so much more experience, and then we have so many new girls coming and adding so much to our team and taking us to the next level. And yeah, I just think we're a completely different team inside out, despite having the same people, the same key components. We are just a completely different team, and we're ready to make something big happen.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned like the new on the team, the new players. I wanted to talk about Rebecca Pilgrim. It's her 1st year on the team, and she is a freshman. Kind of talk about, obviously she's made waves in the MEC. Talk about her impact both on the team and just in general.
Yeah, she's doing really great, honestly. Like, even from preseason, we've noticed that like she's definitely going to be a force on the team, and it's great to see that like what she's doing is paying off for sure. She deserves it. She deserves all the credit that she's getting. Hopefully, newcomer of the year going for her. But yeah, she's doing great though.
Yeah, I'm just so excited for her. As someone that's been here for so long, seeing someone join the team and immediately thrive, especially with 4 years ahead of her, this is only her 1st year. Yeah. It's just so extremely exciting. Yeah, as Journey said, I remember one of our very first preseason scrimmages. I didn't know anyone. I'm the worst at like remembering faces and putting them to names. And she just came out and hit the craziest shot I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, she has a crazy shot, like power shot.
It was
like,
literally insane. My jaw dropped. I was like, yeah, so that's Rebecca. And now I know.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And I know you kind of touched on kind of going NCAA. Obviously, this is your 2nd year in the MEC, and last year you guys had a full year to kind of face these teams. And so this year, now that you guys have a bit more familiarity on these teams, how is that kind of affecting how you guys are going into these games?
Well, this year I would say we're doing a lot more how can we play our best game against this player. So it's a lot more like we're sitting down and we're saying, hey, this team's good at this, we're good at this, how can we put these two pieces together and play our best game with what we know about the other team. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, like, I know that this year we're more focused on not dwelling so much on what they can bring, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, we come in with a game plan, of course, but we know we can bring to the table, and we're capable of so much. So definitely, like, this year has been the big change of, like, focusing on what we can do, and coach has been doing really well, like putting us, like doing subbing great, like he's doing just every aspect is just great. It's just like we are just at our full potential almost.
Yep. And I know you mentioned your guys' strategy going into games is more personalized, more on the team itself. So moving forward, we have this Davidson-Elkins game on Wednesday, and then we have another game on Sunday, both conference games. So moving forward, what are you guys more specifically working on in practices and on the field? Kind of what is Baker really focusing on now that you guys are getting these wins and moving forward?
We're more focused on obviously finding the back of the net. That's obviously the biggest thing. We know going into it that they're going to be more of a physical team. They're able to keep up with a lot of the teams, kind of fall short and maybe like a goal or two, but they have been a pretty strong team, like at least competing really well. And we know that going into tomorrow's game. So yeah.
Yeah, we've really just been focusing on knowing that we're going to go in there. It's going to be a physical game, so we need to really move the ball well, find the connecting passes, and transition from our side of the half to their side of the half. We've been doing a lot of transition games in practice.
Transitioning, 2 touches, getting it off our feet, and finding in the final third, attacking third, we're moving the ball around and being able to score.
Yeah, and then obviously this is your guys' last year here, probably definitely bittersweet. So how have you been going about that? Kind of what's been your philosophy throughout the season?
For me personally, I love soccer so much. So of course this is like so extremely sad to be my final year. I would stay for like 20 more years if I had it in me. Honestly. But I think I show up every single day and I just work the hardest I can. I try to cherish every single moment. And I work the hardest I can because I want to be able to look back on this year and know that I did everything in my power to play to the best of my ability. I just want to be able to look back with no regrets. So I've just been putting everything on the line, dedicating everything to the sport for right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I am definitely on the same page. I'm putting everything I can to practices, even on the days that are hard to get up. And I know getting up at 6 a.m. is not the easiest thing to do every single day, but I know I do it because I love it, and it's something I want to pursue after college as well. So I know that getting the film, getting everything I can do, like trying to, obviously not the best, trying to be perfect. Nobody's perfect though, but trying to do everything to the best of my abilities has been like my biggest thing.
Yeah, and then to kind of close it out, we have this home game coming up on Sunday. How is playing at home different? Obviously, Highmark Stadium is an incredible stadium, and you guys get a bit of a turnout of just like people there cheering you on. How does that feel, you guys?
Yeah, you said it best, honestly. The Highmark is just a beautiful place to play, honestly. The best stadium, just the best stadium overall. But we're really excited. We love our home field, and we love whenever our fans or students can come and show out for us.
Yeah, I would agree. I just think playing on a home field, you get so comfortable. Like, it's called a home field, but obviously like that is your home. You're spending most of your time there with your best friends and like the people that you love on the team. And then being able to play in front of your teachers. I mean, Point Park is such a close-knit community. So like you look up and you see people from your classes, you see your teachers, you see the president is there, like everyone that you know. So being able to play and put on a show and do what you love in front of the people that you love and with the people that you love really just adds a whole entire new element to the game that you don't get from an away game.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's 100%. All the time we have. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
And best of luck this week and through the rest of the season. And that is all the Point Park sports we have this week. But what's coming in the week ahead? On Wednesday, both men's and women's soccer will take on Davison Elkins on the road. Volleyball faces Wheeling in a road game on Friday. Women's soccer comes home to face Glenville State on Sunday. And men's soccer travels to Thomas More for a non-conference matchup. Tune in for more Pioneer updates right here next week. And as always, go Pioneers. After the break, more of what's happening in the sports world. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now for local news, one of the country's biggest televised pro wrestling companies traveled to Pittsburgh this past week. Sideline's reporter Austin Carnes was in attendance and has all the info. Austin?
That's right, Bryn. Now we get Elite with All Elite Wrestling, which returned to Pittsburgh for the 4th time on Wednesday. AEW is coming off their biggest show of the year, All Out, which took place in Toronto and put on loads of incredible matches. Things started off with the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line. Bandito and Brody King, also known as Brodito, successfully defended their titles against GOA. We then go to champion versus champion as AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page goes up against Ring of Honor Pure Champion Lee Moriarty, who is actually from Pittsburgh. The hometown hero was unsuccessful in this match, but still put in a valiant effort. Many surprises took place throughout the night, including a surprise return from Orange Cassidy and the introduction of the Women's World Tag Team Championships, which are sure to shake the division. Then comes the main event, where the newly crowned Women's World Champion, Kris Statlander, successfully defends her gold against Mina Shirakawa. Her victory was short-lived due to the Death Riders making their presence known. An attempt to recruit Statlander ended with a headbutt to Wheeler Yuta and a brawl throughout the audience. This chaotic encounter ended with a save from fan favorite Darby Allin as he marched to the ring with a flamethrower to make the initial save. Truly a special night at the Peterson Event Center. Now over to our weekly NFL reporter, Gabe Ebersol, who has the biggest stories from Week 4. What do you got for us, Gabe?
You got it, Austin. QBs are both old and new coming through in the quarterway point of the NFL season. Let's take a look. Stafford shines in the SoFi. Robin, the reliable Puka Nacua, the NFL's leading receiver. Clash in Inglewood, Cali. It was a shaky start for the Rams. Jumping in, 4th offensive drive. Almost half. Stafford gets 6 with 7 seconds left. Devontae Adams gets in 4th score from 10 yards out. Rams take the last second lead into the break, up 13-10. Fast forward to the 4th quarter, Rams now down a touchdown with 9 minutes left. Number 9 spreads the ball among 4 different pass catchers, 84 yards on 8 of 9 precision this drive. Whole trip hinging on this 4th and pair. Puka punctuates the possession with the slant. Rams tied at 20. Colts 3.5 minutes to get into range, but Jared Verse comes up big to force a punt. A good boot sets the LA at their own 12-minute 33 showing. But Tutu Atwell down the left side, Stafford hits the man in stride, 88-yard house call, ends up being the game winner. Rams bounce back to move to 3-1 through a month of action. Stafford chefed up a strong showing. The former top pick now tied with Dan Marino for the 350-yard passing games list, 26 contests and counting in his future Hall of Fame career. After a winless 3 weeks to open the season, both head coach Brian Daboll and Giants fans agreed that a change at the Q was due. Enter the 25th overall pick. It's a new look New York in Jackson Dart's debut. But it's not all good. Rookie QB Jackson Dart gets the nod, his first career start in Week 4. And it doesn't take long to get his feet wet. First drive keeps it himself on the draw, and Dart's dancing in the end zone very early on in this one. But later in the half, Dart lays one deep for sophomore sensation Malik Neighbors, and he slides and falls awkwardly. Later announced, another ACL claim by MetLife Stadium's turf. Neighbors out for the remainder of the season, prayers and speedy recovery to him. Meanwhile, on the field, well, the Giants and their quarterback are making plays. 3rd quarter time, top target sidelined, New O making it shake. The sweet fake, Jackson to Johnson. Theo scores from 3 yards out, making it a 2-score game. Gap would close quickly, 21-18 after a 54-yard Charger score and 2-point. While Dart would put the game in the air after failing to convert a 4th and goal from inside the 5, he aided the Giants holding the ball for 12.5 minutes in the final period. Dart's dual threats activities get it done without Neighbors. New York on the board for the season, impressively taking down the AFC West top team. Fresh play caller of New York, the Giants came into the contest 0-3 against the undefeated Chargers, leave with their first W to snack on of the season. That's some news from the NFL's quarter season benchmark. Week 5 kicks off with another NFC West battle this Thursday. Purdy's Niners look to bounce back from their first loss against the air raid of the Rams. Winner moves a highly favorable 4-1. Loser sits at a mediocre 3-2, 8:15 Thursday on Amazon. Now, back to you at the desk, Bryn.
Yes, join us next week at the same time to find out what happens in Week 5. When we come back, more national sports news.
tape and cue them, open their mics.
Today marked the 1-year anniversary of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette strike.
Point Park University just hosted a campus-wide meeting.
Plans for the rapid transit bus line are not set to conclude until 2025.
Welcome back. Now with what's new nationally, Layla Shervon is here in the studio with a former NBA player's new hobby. Layla?
That's right, Bryn. The former MVP may have hung up his jersey, but his competitiveness found a new arena. NBA's Derrick Rose has found an obsession for the game of chess. He even describes the game as, quote, harder than losing in basketball, end quote. In July, Rose teamed up with Magnus Carlsen's Freestyle Chess to host a tournament with top players from both sides. Rose isn't the only player in the chess game, as Golden State's Quentin Post and Charlotte Hornets' Grant Williams were also seen competing at the tournament. The players were sat side by side with chess stars that would name a piece for the NBA players to make a move with. This helped them strengthen their knowledge and the strategies of the game. Then they would move on to a separate head-to-head blitz tournament. Rose continues showing fans that his game and mind are very much still in play, and even plans on hosting his own chess tournament in the near future. His obsession started during his basketball career because of the cognitive health benefits associated with chess. Slowly, he found himself more and more intrigued and stated, quote, I think just the thrill of knowing the possibilities is like no other game in the world, end quote. Rose admitted that he had to take a step back from chess during his career because it was taking up too much of his time and energy. It even got to the point where he was dreaming of chess. Rose says, the dreams were very intense. While I was playing basketball, I never wanted anything to come equal to or jump at that, end quote. He shared many times that the mind strengthening that chess brought him helped him see the court differently and taught him to be mindful of every single move he makes. Now, Rose has lots of experience and knowledge in the chess world and will certainly be a competitor to look out for or even look up to. Now, Ryan Thiele to break down the weekend of upsets in the college football world. Ryan?
You heard that correctly. It was upset week in college ball that shook the rankings and no team was safe. It all started Friday in Charlottesville, where unranked Virginia stunned number 8 Florida State 46-38 in a double overtime. The Seminoles looked primed to roll, but the Cavaliers had other plans. This then Saturday brought us even more chaos as two SEC staple programs bit the dust, as number 13 Ole Miss handled number 4 LSU 24-19 in a hard-fought SEC battle. Alabama also made headlines with 17th-ranked Crimson Tide knocking off number 5 Georgia 24-21, reclaiming their national relevance in the process. Out west in the Big 12, upset happened and an unranked Arizona State handed number 24 TCU a 27-24 loss thanks to a game-winning kick. Now let's round it out in the Big 10. Number 6 Oregon outlasted number 3 Penn State 30-24 in another double overtime thriller. Altogether, the weekend rewrote the top 25, scrambling playoff projections. The biggest shakeup, though, in the top 25 was LSU, as they dropped 9 spots to 13, and then Florida State plummeted 10 spots to number 18. That is all for your national stories this week. Back to you at the desk, Bryn.
Next up, we debate the MLB MVP in our Case of the Week, right after this short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. With the MLB season reaching the playoffs, MLB fans have been arguing all season who will win the American League MVP in what is a close battle. I'm joined by Jake, Marcus, Luke, and Peyton in her Sideline debut to debate this. So I want to start out. I think we are between Kyle Raleigh and Aaron Judge, if I'm not mistaken. I want to go down the line, get who you guys think is going to win ALV MVP this year. Jake, we'll start with you.
All right, so I think it's Kyle Raleigh. I don't even think it's close in my opinion. You just have to look at the overall impact he's had with the Mariners. He commands a top-level pitching staff. I mean, the Mariners constantly have great pitching. He is the main guy that is at the helm, helping these guys do very well. The Mariners have won the division for the first time since before any of us were born. I think that's pretty incredible. It would not happen if Raleigh wasn't so good on this team. And if we want to argue stats between Judge and Raleigh, let's just say this. No catcher has ever hit 50 or more homers in a season. Raleigh was able to hit 60. This was an Offensive Player of the Year award. Sure, Aaron Judge, but it's the MVP. Kyle Raleigh has way more impact for the Mariners than any player in the league right now. He's my AL MVP.
All right, Marcus?
When showtime happens, and we know those showtime moments, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, 2-1, who do you call? Whose hand does the bat go in? Aaron Judge. We talk about the biggest franchises in the history of sports itself. We talk about the New York Yankees. We talk about the LA Lakers. We talk about these larger-than-life figures. It's not necessarily about the stats. It goes beyond stats, and it goes into just notoriety in general. You have the second biggest payroll in baseball right now if you're in New York. You have the big name of big name rosters. Now that we're in the postseason, here's where it gets a little funky because we don't know which version of Aaron Judge we're going to get. If I'm a Yankees fan, which I am, I would say, Aaron, AJ, please, please, please do not be afraid to take the bat off your shoulder. Mm-hmm. There's a such thing in baseball called the Mendoza line. Mm-hmm. A lot of players tend to go at or below the Mendoza line when the lights get the brightest. Bryce Harper does it. There's a lot of other players who do it. Yeah, that's my main point.
Awesome. All right, we're going to move on to you, Peyton.
I think Cal Raleigh is going to win. Just because if you look at how much he has done for that team, he led the league in home runs in the American League, and he set a franchise record for home runs for the Seattle Mariners. The last person to do that was Ken Griffey Jr. with 56. And it's just, when you look at it as a whole, he also competed and won the home run derby. Mm. And normally when you do that, you tend to lose your touch for hitters, but he still continued to hit and do well and hit 60 home runs as well.
Yeah. Luke?
Okay. All right, we're going to get straight to the point here. Aaron Judge, he's the MVP. I don't think it's close. Jake made a few good points about Cal Raleigh being a catcher. That's his only argument, really. But if you look at last year, Cal Raleigh was an average hitter, and the Mariners still made the playoffs. And they made the playoffs twice with him being an average hitter. Mm-hmm. And this year, when he was a lot better, mm-hmm. they only had the same amount of wins as they have in past years. Aaron Judge, you want to talk about something that's never been done before? He has the record now for the most home runs by a batting title winner. First batting title winner to ever hit 50 or more home runs. Mm-hmm. If you look at Aaron Judge's StatCast, it's literally just a sea of red.
Yes, sir.
And Cal Raleigh, this year, he was just an average defender. He wasn't an elite defender like last year, and last year doesn't carry over to this year. And the only thing Cal Raleigh did better this year than Aaron Judge is hit more home runs.
Well, the thing is, with Judge is that, let me go to another counter argument. Do you think that Andrew McCutchen deserved the National League MVP in 2013?
I haven't done enough research to
answer Andrew McCutchen had worse stats than Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt led him in almost every category.
Paul Goldschmidt should have won MVP, I think it was 2014.
With 2013, he had better stats than everything that Kutch did. But what did Kutch do? He led a team that had a 20-year playoff drought to the playoffs, was the heart and soul of that team, made everyone better. That's what Kyle Raleigh is doing right now. The Mariners, like I mentioned, haven't won the division since before any of us were born.
Well,
I think that alone just sets them apart.
Unfortunately, the Mariners, like, having horrible front office management for the past 20 years isn't a result of Cal Raleigh at all. He didn't cause that.
Cal Raleigh's not the GM.
Yeah,
but he was able to elevate the whole team. You know, that actually makes my argument better because of how the Mariners weren't able to do their thing. Cal Raleigh was able to be that bright spot and was able to pretty much transcend this entire
But the Yankees also had more wins than the Mariners.
But if you look at it from a catcher standpoint, only 14 catchers have won MVP before, and outfielders always do. There are 3 of the top 5 winners of the MVP. So, like, out of all of it, it's obvious that Aaron Judge is going to win just because historically outfielders always win, but from a catcher standpoint, he has done so much. He deserves to win a lot more.
So
unless your name is Henry Davis, the catcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, you are not a significant catcher. Unless when we talk about Aaron Judge and we talk about the Yankees in general, like I said, they are the sport. Yankees are here. Yankees are here. My wingspan can go up further. Here. Everybody else on the floor, right there, on the floor. On the floor right there.
In terms of what are we talking?
In terms of notoriety, in terms of players, in terms of money, everything, every legitimate stat in sports, everywhere. The Yankees are the big brother.
Yeah, I guess I want to ask kind of MVP. I know the definition can kind of vary from person to person. That most valuable player, does that mean in the league or does that mean in the team? I know I would argue that Cal Raleigh has had a higher impact on the team because the Yankees have a powered team. They are insane, and I would argue that the Mariners don't. And so I kind of want to get really quick your guys' stance on the impact the player has on the team.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to go first by saying, like, let's look at the Yankees' payroll, for example. I mean, we could say, yeah, the Yankees have more wins. They won 4 more games, but at the end of the day, they have one of the highest payrolls in baseball. If Aaron Judge isn't a Yankee right now, they probably re-sign Soto anyway. So they still might have that big impact bat. I just can't make the argument with the Yankees because the Mariners just can't compete with that. But Cal Raleigh was able to transcend that team. So.
I feel like this would be a totally different conversation if Cal Raleigh hit 3 more home runs and beat that American League record for home runs that Judge set in 22. But we're not talking about Judge in 22. We're talking about him now. And Cal Raleigh had a better season this year than Judge did this year, and that's it.
Yeah. Closing thoughts.
Another point. I think if you put Aaron Judge on the Mariners and he's not on the Yankees missed the playoffs. They finished last place. If you take Cal Raleigh off the Mariners, they still make the playoffs.
Interesting. We will end on that there just because of time. Hopefully we can revisit this later, but that is all the time we have this week. Be sure to join us next week at the same Pioneer time, the same Pioneer channel, and the same Pioneer Sideline.